black man is a man. You know, we all came out of Africa. So if the black man isn't a man, then you ain't a man either. If the black man ain't a man, then you goddamn mutated albinos who's already less than. Whenever you think of black folks, just know that you're less than them. So, you should mind your fucking P's and Q's, mind your manners. You should respect other people's fucking human rights and human dignity. The whole thing about America is about civil liberties. To protect liberty, the blessings of liberty for ourselves and posterity. Albert Pike pinned Dixie to arms. So, let's use the Confederacy for the blueprint of the Rainbow Revolution. So when it comes to the Rainbow Revolution, I think we could have a revolution that is bloodless. But Albert Pike, he was a part of the Battle of Pea Ridge. He killed 203 Americans. You just caught that Austin Drummond in Tennessee. That Austin Drummond in Tennessee killed 4 people. But at least he spared that baby's life. He took that baby and put it on the porch. You know, he left it there, but at least he put the baby on the porch so it could live. But compared to Austin Drummond, that, you know, murdering son of a bitch, Albert Pike killed 203 Americans. So he actually killed 199 more Americans than Austin Drummond did at the Battle of Pea Ridge. This was in the state of Arkansas, just below Missouri. It was also known as the Battle of Elkhorn Tavern. And it's the only fucking battle that he ever was a part of. So he killed 203 Americans, wounded 980 Americans, and he kidnapped 203 Americans. So over 1,000 casualties. Man, what the fuck is that goddamn noise? I wonder if there's like a sump pump, and then I think there's like a lower sump pump. I don't want to stick my hands down. Okay. Get down in the muck and the mud. So Albert Pike had pinned Dixie to arms. So the Rainbow Revolution is going to need a battle anthem. They're going to need an anthem, a battle song. Dixie to arms. I don't even know what kind of tune is that. That wasn't very popular. Albert Pike negotiated with the Native Americans, the Cherokee, the Seminole, the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, and the Creek. So the Rainbow Revolution is going to have to negotiate with the Native Americans as well, promising their own state if they sided on the side of white supremacy. Does that make any sense? Native Americans are like, let's see, one side's for white supremacy, the other side is not. You think the white supremacists might turn against us? Well, they've been fighting us the entire fucking time. They're the bunch of colonizing, genociding, fucking smallpox, putting smallpox on blankets and passing around to everybody, sons of bitches. Maybe the white supremacists might not fight for our brown-skinned interest. Brigadier General, so the Rainbow Revolution is going to have military rankings, right? You're going to have military rankings. Braxton Bragg went from Major General to commanding officer back to Major General. But last Major General was a demotion. It's like people don't even, just give a person a title. Don't even fucking matter. The Battle of Pea Ridge happened March 6 to 8, 1862. Over half of the Union troops are actually German immigrants. So if you have any Irish or German heritage in you, if you were, say, I don't know, Brueggemann, Gripschover, that would make you a German immigrant. Which would mean most likely you've been on the Union side. Which is, thank you. Thank you, German immigrants. Thank you for the, was it 1848ers, 1849ers? Not only did the immigrants come into this country, but they also fought our fucking wars for us. So the Rainbow Revolution is going to have military rankings. The Rainbow Revolution is going to have our own battle songs. The Rainbow Revolution is going to have to negotiate with the Native Americans and any other interest groups that are out there. The big problem with white supremacy is that these racist sons of bitches, they only give a fuck about their racism and just their racism, and they don't care about nothing else. And since racists only give a fuck about racism, there is a kid named George Steiny who was killed, North Carolina, South Carolina, something. He was like 14 years old. They killed a fucking little kid, tiny little kid, when he sat in an electric chair. His feet didn't even reach the floor. And they accused him of killing 2 girls, but it turned out he didn't kill the 2 girls. It was George Burke Jr. But George Burke Jr. was part of the white aristocracy. He was part of the ruling class. So instead of going after the person that actually murdered the 2 girls, you just pointed to some boy, some black boy that was over there that told you the truth, that he, saw them and saw what had happened. And if you would have listened to him, and then you would have kept on going with the case, instead you just blamed a fucking boy because you didn't know who the fuck did it. You let the criminal perpetrator get away with murdering 2 girls, 2 Caucasian girls, because racism is more potent than your sense of love, justice, freedom, peace. Is it any wonder that a white supremacist, low-life piece of shit doesn't have a shred of virtue inside themselves? You've gone to the dark side, you racist son of a bitch. So not only did this Albert Pike, not only was he a fucking racist, KKK, Confederate, pile of shit, they say he was a poet too. And I got a little poem that he had penned, but he didn't take credit for it in his lifetime. But he killed wounded soldiers, and he scalped and he mutilated the bodies at the Battle of Pea Ridge. So when he killed 203 Americans, some of them were wounded, and then he went ahead and gave them, I guess, a coup de grace. They could have just been shot in the leg. And then he scalped the Americans. He ripped the top of the heads off of the Americans and mutilated the bodies of the Americans. This is the guy that you're going to fucking honor? This Albert Pike, this is your all's fucking hero? So Johnny Reb, the Confederates, they didn't do a very good job at this Battle of Pea Ridge. Right? Albert Pike goes to fight at the Battle of Pea Ridge with his little army. Well, guess what happened to the Confederates? They lost a bunch of senior officers. 2 of their generals were killed, McCulloch and McIntosh. Earl Van Dorn's survivors are going to run away, retreat, going through the rural countryside. And you know how they lived? By stealing whatever they could take from the inhabitants. So fantastic. The Confederates are going around killing for fucking wicked reasons. And then when they lose, they're going to be robbing the rest of us. They're going to be quartering in our homes. Stealing whatever fucking food and resources that they can get their grubby, fucking greasy hands on. Thousands of priceless troops deserted. And then ultimately the Confederates never got into Missouri for the rest of the war. And then ultimately they're going to withdraw out of Arkansas, leaving Arkansas completely defenseless. So thank God Albert Pike was at the Battle of Pea Ridge. Thank God Albert Pike was on the side of the Confederates, because that helped America keep Missouri and Arkansas. Albert Pike not only was a loser, but he was a quitter, because he's going to resign later on. He's going to run out into the hills of Arkansas after he stole money and weapons. Then he's going to get arrested and held in Texas on November 3rd. He was a Grand Dragon KKK justice. He was a justice on the Confederate Supreme Court. Then he became a justice of the KKK, the Grand Dragon. This vexes me. I am vexed. Albert Pike is going to be... God, there's so many great fucking people. You know, we could put a statue of William Tecumseh Sherman or U.S. Grant or Don Carlos Buell, George Meade, Winfield Hancock, Philip Henry Sheridan. All these people would be better. I'd rather have a statue of all these guys. George Henry Thomas.